Hey everyone, welcome to my show Timeout with Trey. I'm your host Trey with my co-host, my brother Noah Avant, and
Every-
this is a two-man webcast that discusses sports and entertainment. Before we begin, follow the show on Instagram and Twitter at Boca Tribune, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Boca Raton News. This show has different segments where we inform you of trending topics in sports and entertainment and offer our thoughts. At the end of the show is a hot take segment where we'll offer a prediction on one random topic and explain why. With that being said, let's jump right on in. Okay, Noah, Damian Lillard scored 61 points last night in a win against the Mavericks. He also recorded 8 assists and 5 rebounds, 9 threes as well. Dame is the first person since Wilt Chamberlain to score 60 plus points in at least 3 games in a season. Dame dropped 51 against the Sixers on Sunday as well. What do you think about Dame's performances?
he's been doing this. Damian Lillard has been trying to show the world for years now that he was the guy to be messing with, and everybody just kind of swept him under the rug. He's been hitting game winning buckets. He's been hitting these threes. Like if you're hip to the game and you're non-biased to watching basketball, you can clearly see Damian Lillard has been here for a while, and now it's time for him. Now he's really letting it shine now. Um, People are now calling him the best point guard in the NBA. I said absolutely this year, and honestly, even when Stephen Curry comes back, Curry's not
Ooh,
Curry shoots exceptionally well, and I give Curry all the props that in the world. But he also plays beside somebody who's in the same breath as him as a shooter, or even as a player. He also has Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins. Prior to that, he had um,
KD.
KD, Harrison Barnes. Like he had really good teams. Damian Lillard has never been on a super team, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I agree with you. Damian Lillard, I believe, is the second best point guard in the league when everybody is healthy. I do think Steph has the slight edge. He's just he's almost in the same breath as him as a shooter. Like he's an amazing shooter, just like Steph. He's up there with Steph Clay. Duncan Robinson from the Heat. He's a great shooter. The Blazers have underperformed this year, but they're showing that this restart is a fresh start for their team, and they're capitalizing on the situation. The Blazers are now the eighth seed. If they win one more game, they'd clinch the play-in game. The Grizzlies and Suns are tied at 33 and 39. The Suns are still undefeated in the bubble at 7-0. The Grizzlies, they're a meager 1-6, so that's something to look out for. The Spurs are also in the race for the eighth seed. They're 32 and 38, and they are 5-2 in the bubble. The Blazers have one more game against the Nets. The Grizzlies have one more game against the Bucks. The Suns have a game against the Mavericks, and the Spurs have one more game against the Jazz. With that being said, who gets the two playing game spots, and who gets the eight?
Trailblazers and Suns easily. I'd be a fool to say Devin Booker was not going to win the game. It's not going to win them the game. This next game coming up against the Mavericks, and the Pacers are just the Pacers. Pacers. The Trailblazers are just Trailblazers. Like I said, with Dame being Dame going off, I think the last couple of games, I think it was Bleacher Report or ESPN, may even been NBA. That did his stat breakdown for the last couple of games. He's averaging like 50 points a game, like 50 or 40 points a game.
I believe it was like 55, I think,
Yeah,
56.
some crazy stat line. Like, yeah, man, you don't think him and Devin Booker are gonna go neck and neck? Got nothing coming.
I agree with you. I'd say it'd be a shame if the Suns went undefeated and still didn't make the playoffs because the Grizzlies still are ahead of them. So
Uh,
it'd be a shame if the Grizzlies win their last game and the Suns win their last game, the Grizzlies get in over them. You know, but I agree. I want to see Devin Booker and Dame Lillard go head to head. That's gonna be a fun matchup.
The thing with that is this. How do I put this? If the Grizzlies were to make it somehow or another to that play-in, do you really realistically expect them to beat the Suns or the Trailblazers?
No.
Like, and I don't see them with Jaren Jackson going down. That really puts a damper in them to what they had going on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I agree with you. It's just who are the Grizzlies playing? The Grizzlies playing against the Bucks. They're probably going to lose that game. The Suns, they have the game against the Mavericks. That's a toss up. I think the Suns will get that because I don't think Luka might not play in the last game. So if the Suns win that game, then obviously they get to play in a game against the Blazers. The Blazers are expected to beat the Nets. And
yeah.
I think the Blazers would beat the Suns and get the 8th seed.
I don't know. The Blazers and the Suns.
It's a toss up because the Suns are very unpredictable.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the Suns could play like this now, and get in front of Damian Lillard and completely wet the bed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I do see Dame winning it. You know, at the end of the day, I do see the Trailblazers doing this because Trailblazers is just even if Nurkic fouls out, you have us on Whiteside. If DeAndre Ayton fouls out, who do they have?
Not much.
Aaron Baines. That's who they have.
Not much. That's not much.
Yeah, it's not gonna do it.
Yeah, man. I just don't think the Suns have what it takes to get into the playoffs. But we never know. They're very unpredictable.
They are.
The league announced bubble awards will be given out at the end of the seeding games, including bubble MVP and the all bubble first team and second team. Who do you think wins bubble MVP? I say Devin Booker. Who you got?
Devin Booker. He honestly makes the best case. I mean, nobody expected the Suns to do what they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta go with D Book.
And I mean, honestly, he's the clear-cut MVP, honestly, for the bubble. You could make a case for Giannis, but Giannis' team wasn't undefeated undefeated in the bubble. Anybody that you would normally think of as an MVP candidate, you have to completely wipe the board up because their team was not undefeated. Devin Booker was. You can make an argument for Damian Lillard, though.
You can. You could definitely make an argument for him.
Because Damian Lillard, I think before the bubble, they were ninth.
I think they were 10th, I think. Or they might have been ninth. They might have been ninth.
9th to 10th. So, I mean, you go from 9th to 10th to now I'm fighting for that last spot. I feel like that's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Luka and James Harden has a good case as well.
I don't see Luka. I can't see Luka as much as I can see Dame. Mm-hmm. So when I think of MVP, who is the most valuable player on that team? If Luka does not play, Porzingis.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
If Dame doesn't play, CJ McCollum. Mm-hmm. CJ McCollum even turned up. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's hard.
Yeah. What do you think about TJ Warren?
No.
He was the leading scorer of the bubble, but
that's real cute.
Yeah, they didn't do much.
I mean, he played against the Heat. He should have had the same amount. He should have had the same scoring outburst, right?
Mm-hmm.
He did. Yep. 12 points, 5 rebounds.
Completely folded.
And I like the guy. He's a North Carolina guy. He's from Raleigh, but.
Yeah, and the Pacers, they didn't go up in the standings. They didn't go down. They just stayed where they were at. So he didn't really prove his value that much,
Mm-hmm.
The Eastern Conference playoff race is solidified, so there's no reason to talk about that. The Wizards were eliminated earlier, so everybody in the East is pretty much locked in where they're at. The league also announced the finalists for the league awards for the regular season before the shutdown. They have Giannis, James Harden, LeBron James for MVP, Ja Morant, Kendrick Nunn, and Zion Williamson for Rookie of the Year, Giannis, Anthony Davis, and Rudy Gobert for Defensive Player of the Year, Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder, and Lou Williams for Sixth Man of the Year, Bam Adebayo, Luka Doncic, and Brandon Ingram for Most Improved Player, and Mike Budenholzer, Billy Donovan, and Nick Nurse for Coach of the Year. Who do you think is gonna? We're gonna go from bottom up. Who do you think is gonna win Coach of the Year?
Coach of the year, Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse. After some thinking,
mm-hmm.
After thinking of what you said last week, I have to go with Nick Nurse as well.
I mean, I feel like they were predicted to have the biggest drop off because they did lose Kawhi over the offseason, and now they're number 2 in the East. I mean, that's pretty good considering what all things considered. You lose a talent like Kawhi Leonard, and then boom, I'm still number 2. I mean, we could credit that to Pascal Siakam and Kyle Lowry finally being Kyle Lowry and not Kyle the Friendly Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. It is definitely that.
Yeah, I had seen something on Twitter that said through 70 games, the Raptors have 2 more wins without Kawhi Leonard than with Kawhi Leonard from last season. So Nick Nurse is definitely doing something right. Who do you think is going to win Most Improved Player? I'm gonna say Bam.
I mean, who do I want to win and who I think is going to win it?
Out of those 3 players, who do you think is going to win?
Luka Doncic.
Wow, Luka.
You want to know why? Because they put him in a category with players that they know he's had a better season than. Like that's the thing that irks me about the NBA. You cannot, and I repeat, you cannot have a player that have a season like Luka, and then they just don't want to reward him. Like they wanted to make Zion a top 50 player. He never played a game in the NBA. They had him ranked higher than Carmelo Anthony. I want people to realize that. So, like, when it comes down to awards, it's a politics game. Because if we're being realistic and we're talking about actual who improved the most, the numbers show Bam Adebayo. I mean, you go from a season ago averaging 9 points, 8 points, a couple rebounds to turning around, and now you are a double a night guy, 16, 10, and 5. That's not most improved player.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense to me. Even with BI. Even BI has a case in this. But Luka, somebody who came in the league who was already having great games, he literally played like a my player with the Kobe Bryant edition with all of that extra VC. That was the equivalent of Luka coming into the league. Like, I sit up here and tell me most improved, man. Come on now.
Yeah, I don't think Luka should win most improved because I believe he was expected to be this good. Maybe not as good this quickly, but he was expected to be really good. You know, Ingram, he improved a lot too. But I also think that was kind of expected, him being in new surroundings. Bam was completely unexpected to like the casual viewers or fans of other teams. The Heat fans, you probably expected this, but if you're a fan of another team or a casual viewer, you were not expecting this Bam Adebayo breakout.
No,
I think he's the definition of a most improved player. Like what you said, with his averages last season and this season, he's the definition of most improved player. But I also think instead of having Luka there, they should have put Devontae Graham. That's Luka's own words as well. Devontae Graham averaged 4 points a game last season. Now he's averaging 18. Luka himself said it. He said, "I don't deserve to be in the race for most improved player." Devontae Graham is that guy.
Yeah. That's a slap in his face. You're telling me the season before last, when I was rookie of the year, I didn't do anything, but now I'm most improved player? Like, look, what? I was already good. I was already great. So yeah, I definitely can understand why he said that. And Deion and my boy Devontae Graham, another Raleigh guy, North Carolina guy. He's been hooping. He single handedly almost brought the Hornets back to relevancy. So I mean, you gotta respect that.
I think the Hornets would have did something similar to the Suns if they were invited to the bubble.
Mm.
I think him playing in the bubble would have, and if he played good, Devontae Graham, I think he would have been chosen over Luca for that finalist spot. But that's just me. Six man of the year. Who you have winning that? I say Lou Williams.
Yeah, Lou Will or
Lou Williams.
Montrez. Dennis Schroeder, you can make a case for him, but I feel like personally speaking, I'm going with Montrez.
Or you want Montrez?
Yeah, Montrez or Lou, one of the two.
Mm-hmm. I say Goran Dragic was definitely snubbed. Maybe you could put him over Montrez, but debatable. But I'm gonna go with Lou Will for definitely for six man of the year.
Did you really say that?
Yeah, Goran was averaging like 16 a game, 15 to 16 a game.
Him,
I don't really know how much Montrez is averaging, but in his first season off the bench, Goran was averaging 15 to 16 points a game. I think that's pretty good.
yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, Harold averages a double double.
He does.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe so. I'm currently looking up his stats now, so I don't misspeak.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he doesn't. He averages 19, 7, and 2.
He averages 19 points a game.
Yes.
Okay, so forget I said anything about Goran. Montrez definitely deserves to be in there.
There we go.
But Lou Williams got him beat. Lou Williams got him beat for sure.
Yeah, I like to say, like, I love Goran, don't get me wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
he ain't doing all that.
Yeah, man. Defensive player of the year, who you got? I'm gonna say Rudy Gobert. He single handedly blocked the whole NBA season.
Wow.
Single
Wow.
handedly. He's the
Wow.
greatest defensive player in the
Wow.
history of the NBA.
Wow. Wow.
He's the greatest defensive player in the history of the NBA. He single handedly shut down a whole season
Wow.
by himself.
This guy. Wow. Wow.
And on top of
No.
that, he's pretty good. On top of that, he's pretty good on the court too.
Nah, he ain't gonna just past what you just said.
He's pretty good on the court. He's a good basketball player.
I give it. I give it 80. Giannis. I'm telling you how it's gonna go. If Giannis does not get MVP, he's getting Defensive Player of the Year.
I can see that
because he's had too great of a season. He's had too great of a season for him not to be rewarded for his game for how he's played this year. So I could be wrong. Again, I think Anthony Davis should get Defensive Player of the Year, but that's just me. And I think the only thing we got left, we got Rookie of the Year next, right?
Yes. Who do you have winning Rookie of the Year? I'm gonna say Ja Morant. Who do you have?
Ja Morant. That's their only logical. After the bubble, since the bubble season has started, there's only one clear Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it didn't help Zion's case that he was held back in the bubble by the Pelicans. It didn't help Kendrick Nunn's case that he didn't play very well in the bubble.
Yeah, and if he would have played good while he was there, I mean, it is what it is. But in Nunn's case, like you said, he played like guard. There was some games I was watching, probably, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And this is all like this is the same Kendrick Nunn. I don't know. Maybe I really feel like he's gonna turn it around.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs, it is a little weird. Go from not playing to, and he didn't have that buffer game where he just sat and got himself used to it like Bam did. He jumped right in head first. As soon as they gave him his quarantine, he was there as soon as he could. So maybe that's the reason why he has not been playing like the Kendrick Nunn we know and love. I hope. But a lot of guys, other Miami guys have been stepping up for him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Jaw in the bubble, he's been playing really well. His team hasn't been playing well, but he has been playing pretty good. Um, MVP. Who do you have winning MVP? I'm gonna say Giannis.
King James.
King James. He hasn't even played like the best player on his team. Anthony Davis has had a better season. Yeah.
I know. I love LeBron, so I'm a ride for LeBron. But honestly, I can't even say Giannis. I really feel like James Harden, how he's been playing, like he's a highlight reel.
Mm-hmm.
I would give him MVP. But honestly, between the three, Giannis will probably end up winning MVP. James Harden will probably be a close second, or either LeBron's gonna miss it by a vote, or he's gonna miss it by a lot. So he's
Mm-hmm.
either gonna be close second or blown out third.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that'll
I
go.
agree with you.
Cause it's just like with these three guys, it's tough. It's tough, but I think it'll be Giannis too. I can see Giannis.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Giannis because he's the best player on the best team in the league. James Harden, he's proven him and the Rockets have proven that they don't need a center, and they're the fourth seed, I believe, or the fifth seed in the West. I think they're the fourth seed in the West.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron is obviously the king, but Anthony Davis has had a better season. So I mean, you can go either or. I'm gonna say Giannis was MVP. I'm gonna say Anthony Davis was a snub. Simple as that. We're gonna switch gears to college football. Players are not the only people to opt out of playing football this fall. As the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are the first Power Five conferences to postpone their football seasons, potentially to the spring. Draft prospects Rondell Moore, Gregory Rousseau, I believe that's how you say his name, Makai Parsons, Rashad Bateman, and Caleb Farley are among some of the top prospects to have opted out of the season. So expect more players to opt out in the coming days with the conferences being canceled. What do you think about this madness that's college football?
Like last I the players are finally realizing that hey, whatever we say basically is gonna go. We put the money in their pockets. They can't have a football game without football players. It is what it is at that point. Like I do feel like it's interesting to see. When I got the news this week that the Big Ten and the Pac-12 said they were actually going to cancel and try to shoot for the spring, it was interesting. I was like, wow, they really turned around and did a 180. But I mean, at the end of the day, those also the conferences where the guys were saying, look, we'll stand against you if we have to, but we don't want to play. I'm saying that.
Yeah, they were pretty much forced to do it. I mean, a lot of the players are probably going to hold out.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see if they can actually play in the spring because you have other sports like basketball going on. Hey, we don't know how long this pandemic is going to go. Maybe basketball season might get canceled. You never you never know. So if basketball gets canceled, then you already know football is going to get canceled.
Well, I mean, that's not necessarily true because you still got the SEC. They're still playing.
Oh, they're going to play regardless unless something drastic happens.
But you got to remember, the SEC and the ACC are too. That's what they're known for. They're known for football and basketball. Mm-hmm. And I highly doubt Carolina's going to miss basketball this year, and so will Kentucky. Mm-hmm. So it's just going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm also excited. Well, I'm happy for these draft prospects that are deciding to sit out. Why risk your health playing this season or, just being on campus when you can just sit it out and know you're going to get drafted in a couple months and you're going to get drafted high. Now, while your stock might like deplete a little bit because other conferences might be playing and prospects in those conferences will rise, I just believe those players made the right decision. I know Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, they're eager to go out there on football field and play. I know that. Clemson, obviously, with the ACC, Trevor Lawrence is expected to be the first pick in the draft. He wants to play. There's no reason for him to play because he's going to be the first. He's going to be the first pick in the draft regardless. So, but he wants to have one last hurrah with his teammates. So, hey, I'm happy for him. And a lot of these conferences, they're probably threatening some of the players who say anything or decide to sit out and they're not like top prospects. They could just transfer to HBCU. That's what I always say. If these people are threatening to take away your scholarship or whatever, they could just, hey, all right, say less. We're gonna transfer to HBCU. We're gonna transfer to a school that actually wants me and listens to my needs. So I'm excited for those players.
I like you just have to understand, like, when it comes down to your health, especially when you're the money, what is what it is.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks. We're going to watch a commercial of Hyzier Marketing. It's a great option for businesses, and we'll be back in 15 seconds. Welcome back, people. We're going to stay on the topic of football, but we're going to transition to the NFL. Darius Gase of Washington he was arrested and he was charged with domestic abuse for allegedly strangling his girlfriend unconscious.
Relax. Put your hands on the ladies, man.
I know. Crazy. It's ridiculous. Washington later released Gase. DeAndre Baker of the New York Giants was charged with 4 counts of robbery for an alleged armed robbery committed back in May with Seattle Seahawks cornerback Quentin Dunbar. Dunbar was not charged with any crime due to insufficient evidence. Do you think that the young careers of Gase and Baker are already over?
For Darius, unfortunately, it's one of those things in today's social climate. We're not as tolerant as, well, not weird, because I was never like this, but people are less likely to be tolerant of women beaters. You shouldn't have strangled your girlfriend unconscious and you're a multi-million-dollar athlete. You shouldn't do it anyway. But like, you do that and you're known. You're a football player. You're somebody that starts on Sundays. Like, you've worked this hard to get to this point, and you let your anger essentially block your bag. And even taking it to Baker. Why are you in Miramar in a multi-billion-dollar car? Like, what are you doing? It's just some things you don't do. You do foolish things as a child. You must leave that as in your childish years, not when your livelihood now is affected by this. And you come from an environment where not many people make it, and then you do some dumb stuff like this. It's really like, dang, what was your purpose of doing all this hard work, all those long nights in the field house, lifting weights, all those nights studying film, them hard losses when you thought that was going to affect how scouts looked at you. All of those hard moments, you decided to say, you know what, bump it. I'm going to go do something stupid. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. Apparently, Baker and Dunbar were at a house party in Miramar, and they robbed four men, like with their money and their watches. There was no evidence that Dunbar did anything, so he's back with the Seahawks doing his thing. Baker has not been released by the Giants, but expect some moves later on because he didn't really have his rookie year was not very good. He was one of the worst rated corners in the league. Even though towards the end of the year he did get better, he was not very good. Um, Darius Gase or Geis, I believe. He um I don't think he played his rookie year. He was injured, and so 2019 he didn't play that good, even though he wasn't even healthy 2019. So he was unhealthy, and he has this domestic abuse charge. He might not play in the NFL ever again. He's probably another Ray Rice. So I mean, it's real sad, but I think if Baker does end up going to doing some prison time, I think his career is definitely over. And Gase, his career is probably over as well, which is sad. But like you said, they need to stay out of the hood. Well, Baker specifically needs to stay out of the hood. You're a millionaire. I seen a video when he got drafted. He bought his mom a car or a house the moment he got drafted, and he pretty much just threw it away because I doubt he paid for the car or the house up front. So that stuff you gotta give it back. But speaking of Washington, Alex Smith is expected to be at full health after 2 years of inactivity. He suffered a broken leg and has numerous surgical setbacks that has delayed his return. Head coach Ron Rivera has shown confidence in Smith, and Dwayne Haskins, he didn't have the best rookie year. Do you think that Alex Smith could take the starting job from Dwayne Haskins?
I feel like in today's NFL, Haskins is the quarterback that you want to roll with. Alex Smith is a great quarterback. Has a good arm, seasoned veteran, but Dwayne Haskins, he's mobile and he can throw the ball. That's what you see. That's literally the two best quarterbacks in the NFL as we speak right now. That's what they're known to do. They can get out of the pocket, they can run it, and they can throw the ball. I'm not saying that Dwayne Haskins could put up rushing yards like Lamar Jackson. I thought no look passes like Pat Mahomes, but he is still a quarterback of the future. That is the prototype build that you want. So I feel like it's going to be interesting to see what the Redskins, or excuse me, the football club or football team, whatever the heck they're called now, it's going to be interesting to see what they do.
I believe in Alex Smith's first season with Washington, I think he went 6-3 before he went down with the injury. So they were playing really good when he was starting quarterback. And he was a good quarterback with the Chiefs before Patrick Mahomes came to town. And he was a solid quarterback at the end of his 49ers stint before, Colin Kaepernick. So I do think he definitely has the ability to take the starting job from Dwayne Haskins. We just got to see how he feels when he's out there on the field. And like you said, Haskins, if he's still young, so if he's able to improve quick enough from his rookie year and show why he was picked so highly in the draft, they're probably going to roll with Dwayne Haskins. But it's hard to say because Ron Rivera is a new head coach. He's not the same coach that drafted him, so he might not have the same loyalty. But it's really hard. It's really hard to say. But I think Haskins is going to hold on to it for a while longer. I think he's going to hold on to the starting job for a little while longer. Any final thoughts on that?
He'll definitely end up being a starting quarterback out of there, at least at first. I feel like once Haskins gets in a position where he has to show that why I'm the man, this is why you need to start me, he'll perform to the standards that the 49ers, that Washington's looking forward to.
All right, folks, we're going to venture out of bounds with this question. What is the hardest sport in the world? Now, me and Noah already talked about this. We both agreed that bull riding is probably the hardest sport in the world. It's extremely dangerous. There's a reason you only have to stay on for 8 seconds because it's basically impossible to stay on any while longer. There are people in the ring or whatever it's called in the pit that are there, the rodeo clowns. They're there just to make sure you don't die. Their job is to distract the bull so you don't get stomped on or gored. This sport is extremely dangerous. People die all the time. But when we started talking about other sports, we started disagreeing with some stuff, like soccer, for example. Noah, explain why you think soccer is one of the hardest sports in the world.
Dude, imagine running up and down a football field and then having somebody going directly for your knees or the ball, but your knees. And then it's like, oh, running on those people, slide tackle. My knee. No, I'm good, bro. I'm good. That joint is hard. And you running nonstop, G, nonstop. Some positions in football or soccer, you run the whole field. I don't got time for that, dude. I just don't. You can't tell me football or soccer is not hard, bro.
I do believe the sport is very difficult. I do think there are harder sports out there. Like what you said, running nonstop for 90 minutes, that's extremely difficult. And then obviously you have people who are going for the ball, who are really going at your shins, going at your ankles and your knees. But I don't know. A lot of times people be flopping. It's just.
Oh, nobody gonna flop when they're running at unknown speeds. Come on, Trey.
Nah, those flops. Those flops are real. That's where the basketball players get it from, man. Those flops are real. Slightest bit of contact, holding your ankle, holding your knee, like, oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain. Up, red card, get out.
Trey, what I want you to do, I want you to run down the field, and I want you to maintain a soccer ball by your feet while you do it. And at any given time, I'm just gonna stick a stick out there with a shin guard and a cleat on it, and then take you out real quick. And you let me know how that flop feels. That's real. Soccer is a real game, man. It's a tough game, dude. I don't think you understand that. Ronaldo ain't out here getting paid millions for nothing. You're crazy.
I do think it's a very difficult sport. But I just think there are hardest sports out there. But news just came out that Giannis was suspended for the final seeding game because of his headbutt on Mo Wagner. What do you think about that?
I mean, he really thought he was a buck. I mean, he said, Mo Wagner was talking that talk, and he said, "Word, what'd you say?" It is doing. He gave him that. What you ever seen? Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
He gave some. He like noggin.
I don't know what got over him. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. The Wizards are not in the playoffs. The Bucks are, obviously they're the first seed. So it didn't really matter, but that was really dumb. He didn't need to do that,
I mean, look, I'm Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm the best player in the league, arguably. Who gonna check me? A suspension? Oh, and a comical $25,000 fine, and I'm a multi-millionaire. LOL. LOL. I'm a headbutt who I feel.
But back to the topic of hardest sports in the world, we also consider golf. Golf is pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Golf is extremely hard. Baseball's hard. Tennis is pretty hard. Football's hard.
Definitely.
Football is really, really hard, especially when you have multiple positions that do different things. Football is extremely difficult. We did come to a disagreement about basketball. I said basketball is one of the easier sports in the world.
Because you a football player. You a hater. That's
I am not a football player.
You are.
I'm not a football player. Not at all.
You're a retired player. Retired football player. Don't cap.
So are you. But I'm gonna say basketball is easy. It's one of the more simple. It's not easy, but it's one of the more simple sports. I feel like anybody can just pick up and play. And I mean, played at a high level is extremely difficult. But that's the same. You can say that about any sport in the world. Playing at a high level is extremely difficult. But just picking it up and doing it like casually, I think is pretty simple.
Yeah, I have you not seen some people that have no type of basketball talent play basketball? That is the most painful thing to watch. To watch somebody just throw brick after brick after rock after brick after brick after brick at the rim. And it's just uncoordinated dribbling. Just everyone on the court just
But you can say that if anybody plays any sport. Anybody who plays any sport will be like that.
Yeah, right. Except if I play wiffle ball, which is like a watered down baseball, unless I have no coordination, I can hit the ball and run to a spot. It's not as
Nobody can do that. That's also one of the easier sports. That's also one of the easier sports.
Okay, soccer then. Let's take it to soccer then. You like, bruh, it's hard, G. Basketball is a lot harder than what you think, man.
What do you mean? I play basketball. I know how hard basketball is.
Okay, so it shouldn't be a rebuttal when I say it should have some respect. It's not.
It should have some respect. I'm saying it's a pretty simple game.
It's a pretty simple game. Wrestling seems pretty simple. Grab them, throw them on the ground, lay on them for a little bit, get some points. You might chicken arm somebody, but outside of that, it's easy.
Wrestling, you made it sound a lot easier than it actually is. You say just throw them on the ground. Okay, when someone doesn't want to be thrown on the ground, they're going to make sure you don't throw them on the ground.
Okay, you try to make basketball seem easy. Oh, just dribble down the court, put the ball in the net. Except if I'm like 6'8" and 200, 6'8", 250, and I can jump to the sky. If I don't want to let you put the ball in the basket, guess what? I can put the ball in the basket, Trey.
All right then, yeah, you could say that about every sport in the world. But I'm just saying, basketball is pretty simple. Wrestling is also pretty simple when you say it like that, but it's actually really, really hard. Same thing with all the other combat sports, like MMA. We both agree MMA is extremely hard.
Oh, absolutely. I would never ever willingly step in the octagon unless I was getting paid a substantial amount of money. And like, in order for me, like, that's the only way I'm getting in the octagon. I'm not stepping in there for free. Like, hey man, take a punch from John Jones for $5. I'm like, yeah, you first. Like, no. Now if you say, hey, look, John Jones wants to like right hook you for I don't know, $10 million. Put the belt piece in.
Yeah, no, that's nah. Especially a sport like boxing. Can you imagine getting in the ring with prime Mike Tyson? No, no.
You remember the magic conch shell from SpongeBob? I don't think so. No. Negative.
Yeah,
Who was
yeah, bro.
like Roy Jones Jr.? Roy Jones Jr. is getting in the ring with Mike Tyson in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, well, a couple weeks, yeah.
Yeah, good luck. I hope they have EMS there on the site.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tyson literally be punching lights out, like
still to this day.
Like I seen dude, he thought he showed a little combo, he shadow box, he said, "Fing, fing, boom, 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 boom." Like, what are you, Master Jet? What are you, Master Yoda? Like, relax.
Yeah, man, it's just the combat sports are extremely hard. It's just they're very unpredictable. Anybody can win in those sports. There are people who are like completely unstoppable, and then one punch, boom, they're done for. Like it's just super unpredictable.
Curtains.
It's about that time, folks. It's hot take time.
Yeah,
Yes,
let me step
sir.
first. Let me
Oh, you
step.
want that first? Okay, okay. What's your hot take?
I gotta step first on this one because I know whenever the viewers that watch this, they're gonna hear this and they're gonna be very angry with me. But James Harden's career is looking a lot like AI's. And I say that to say this. Both of them only went to the finals once. As of right, as of yet with James Harden. James Harden went to the finals once with OKC. AI went once with the 76ers. AI got swept. And I think that was 4-2, 4-1.
It was 5 games, yeah.
5 games,
With
5 games
Harden.
with James Harden in the finals. So it's like, uh, I don't know. It doesn't look good. And James Harden has been on substantially better teams. You look at the the Rockets. The Rockets have Russell Westbrook. They have himself. They have PJ Tucker. They have Carmelo Anthony. And they had a big man. They had a big man in Clint Capella. You know, he's been on all of these really good teams, have yet to get some jewelry from it. I mean, like, look, and I'm not trying to like down him because I understand he's really had the short end of the stick with the Heat, the Warriors, the Cavs that one year. Like, it's just a lot of teams for you to beat, and you being in the West, the tough conference. It's really hard for you to actually move and try to get and progress to where you should or as you feel. But everybody wants to talk about, well, he averages more points than Dwayne Wade. He averages this and that. Yeah, but Dwayne Wade, he may not average 30 points a game multiple seasons, but he got jewelry to show for his 29 and 25 to 29 a game. He averaged for a career. So, I mean, look, you can have the scoring, you can have all the scoring titles in the world. That doesn't replace the actual title. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens next.
That's very spicy, very spicy. Do you think that when Harden retires, he would be better than AI?
He's better than AI now.
Okay, okay. I can accept that. I can accept that.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Porter Jr. This is my hot take. Michael Porter Jr. is showing that he is indeed a taller Jason Tatum. I believe he even has a higher ceiling than Jason Tatum because he's taller and he has more defensive flexibility. You know, not only he can guard the perimeter like Tatum, he's like 6'10", so he can protect the paint a little bit, just a little bit, depending on the matchup. In the bubble, he's averaging 23.8 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 1.5 assists per game. He also has two 30-point games. He's showing why he was the number one player in high school, and also why he was the projected number one pick in the draft in 2018 over Luka Doncic and over DeAndre Ayton. Obviously, before Porter's back injury, took him out of Mizzou. So, that's just my hot take right there. I think he's going to be the next star player in this league. Any final thoughts, Noah, before we wrap it up?
Trey likes Michael Porter Williams, guys. What's his name? Michael Porter. Yeah, Michael Porter Williams. Michael Porter Jones. He really likes him some
Michael
MPJ.
Porter Jr., man, get it right.
Yeah, scrub. We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
All right, we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys, that's it for today's show. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Boca Raton News. Follow the show on Instagram and Twitter at Boca Tribune. Follow me on my personal Twitter at TreyAvant3. Noah?
Follow me at ArcBuilder Noah on all social platforms.
Yes, sir. Timeout airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. As always, this is the Avant Bros signing off.